I was saddened at the fact that he hadn't messaged me on Christmas Day. I let myself feel my feelings, reminding myself also that a lack of proof in the 3D meant absolutely nothing. When I did open the message in the morning, and I guess he saw the red notification, he messaged me right away saying that he's been having flashbacks. Hey guys, welcome back to another video. In case you're new here, my name is Kim. This is Core Union. I want to talk about some unfolding and movement that my client is having with her specific person. This is a deep soul connection. They were together at some point in the past. There was a breakup. I'm not going to go into those details, but I do want to share what she sent to me both December 14th. We're 2025 because you guys could be watching this 50 years, 100 years from now. So she sent it to me on December 14th. We started working together several months ago. She's been applying everything that I have been teaching her. Now, I'm not going to say that when the opposition shows up in the 3D that it's fun and games. It is going to challenge your own faith and trust of yourself and, the trusting in the oneness and that this doesn't matter and it doesn't deserve any more of your energy. What does deserve your energy is first the little part of you that might be triggered. Just pour some love into yourself. That's all you need to do in that moment. Just pour some love into yourself. So, in other words, the opposite comes up in the 3D. There is a third party in this situation, but the third party is just the personification of back when my client wasn't choosing herself, wasn't knowing that she is already chosen by her mirror soul. So she wasn't choosing herself, and she technically wasn't choosing the relationship or the loving, healthy, harmonious relationship with him or the highest and best version of him either. Okay. So anyway, pour some love into yourself. Just literally, this isn't even a moment for you to be affirming for your person. Just give yourself love. Let yourself feel the emotions. Then surrender. Hand it over to Creator. Thank you for loving me through this. Thank you for helping me understand and see everything I need to know and understand. Then you can do a little revision with whatever came up, whatever it was that did come up in the 3D with your person. If you have a sudden memory of something from the past, an ex, something, whatever, you can do revision with that too, or you can even do Ho'oponopono or something like that. So when you're in the trigger, when things start to break down, that's good. And oftentimes it's a breakthrough, actually. So it's a good thing because you have to release and let go of your fears and your doubts of the connection. If you are wavering, if you're insecure, if you're even doubting the connection, your person is going through that as well. I'm going to share what she wrote me both on December 14th, which I already did make a video, but I don't know if you guys actually, I don't even remember when I did the video. I'm going to read that, and then I'm going to read the video that she just sent me this morning, which I know is definitely going to inspire a lot of you to not give up. But when we say not give up and we say to keep persisting, sometimes I can, see evidence in the comments, for example, that you might be persisting in the old story. You are holding on to and putting all your energy and awareness into what you don't want. If you continue to do that, reality has no choice but to give that back to you. It's really that simple. Reality isn't going to stop and say, she's been doing really good. She's been really consistent. She's super faithful. So let's give her what she deserves. Let's reward her. That's not how this works. It's very precise. And your reality is incredibly faithful to you. And so is everyone else in your reality. Remember that you are actually one with everyone in your reality and with everything in your reality. There is no actual separation. The desire exists, creation is done. You wouldn't be able to desire it unless it already exists. The desire itself is the promise of the wish fulfilled. You are just allowing yourself to let go of your limits so you can then experience it. So let me read this. So, December 14th, she wrote, "It was my birthday on Friday, and I did feel some anxiety about reaching out to him. I did as you told me. I knew for a fact that he loved hearing from me and that it would only create warmth and love within him. I wished him a happy birthday, saying that I hoped that everything always aligned the way he wanted it to and that he was always surrounded by those that only had his interest at heart. I also wished him to always remember everything he's learned, but to keep the door open for more opportunities." He answered a few hours later, and among the different things he wrote, he said that even though he was happy in different areas of his life, he thought of me every day and hoped that I was happy too. He said he could never thank me enough for everything I've ever done for him and that he hasn't forgotten anything. I told him that many things had happened since we last spoke and that I inevitably thought of him too. He sent me a sunflower, which is my favorite flower. My Facebook profile picture is of me holding about 10 of them, and I always had the impression that he looked at my page even though we weren't actually friends online. He continued saying that he found it hard not to speak to me, but that he understood our situation wasn't easy. Right there, there's a little bit of a mirror to look at there, that your situation is extremely easy because the love flows easily between the two of you. Okay, so that's something that was a little bit of a mirror, something to mirror there. I shared with him that there were moments where I truly needed him, and I was even ready to call him, but had chosen not to. Now, at that point, I'm not going to read what was next in this just because it's a little bit of old story stuff. But what was reflected back to her at that time was what she was fearful of back then. I ended up cutting our conversation short as I didn't want to cause any discomfort or push for anything. I wished him again all the best and reminded him of everything he already knew. Then he said he adored me and that I was unique and that he would never forget anything. Never before had he said that he adored me or expressed any sort of feeling. I am doing my best to not get caught up in the middle and continue as I was, but I admit it's hard since the conversation did mirror my fear. I soothed myself a lot afterwards as my body ended up releasing a lot of anxiety. I had even asked myself at that point, should I just let this all be? But that's just my ego. I'm fine now and I continue with the same mental diet as before, but with some tweaks. She also wished the third party to be happy and to find the true love of her life, which is something that I suggest everybody do. You don't do that consistently because then you're giving your awareness to the third party. By the way, for anybody who gets triggered when somebody is manifesting their person and there's a third party, if you're getting triggered, you're probably just in this old story and old identity that you're not the one. So you're putting yourself in another role. Okay. So if you are manifesting back into your life your true love, you have to, again, like I said earlier in this session today, you have to choose yourself and choose that you are the one and only one. And it's always been you and only you. As deeply as you love your person, you have to know that they love you as deeply. You make their heart go pitter patter. You're the one and only one. Like you are imprinted on their soul. You light them up inside. Just the mere thought of you lights them up inside. So if you say, well, then why this, why that? At that time, you weren't actually choosing yourself. You weren't actually loving yourself. Maybe you had a story that love wasn't safe, that you were going to be abandoned or rejected. I also make sure not to compare myself to anybody, reminding myself often of who I am to him, and that surpasses everything. I am also anchoring myself to my self-concept. I went over my notes from our conversations and I apply that to especially the visuals. And now I'm going to read what I just, saw this morning that she sent to me. I was saddened at the fact that he hadn't messaged me on Christmas Day. I let myself feel my feelings, reminding myself also that a lack of proof in the 3D meant absolutely nothing, and I continued to enjoy my day. His message, oh my God, his message came through a few minutes past midnight saying he had hoped that my family and I had spent a nice Christmas and that everything was going as I wanted it to. And then he included a kissing emoji. He never did that before. I answered him, wishing him a very Merry Christmas also, to which we exchanged a few more messages before he wished me a good night's sleep. As I put my phone down, he sent me another kissing emoji, which I decided to only open in the morning. When I did open the message in the morning, and I guess he saw the red notification, he messaged me right away saying that he's been having flashbacks of us as well as strong, intimate desires, but that he needed to remain, quote unquote, good. We spoke during the day where he kept going back and forth between showing extreme desire for us to suddenly pulling back and saying that we shouldn't be in contact because he didn't want to hurt anybody and ruin what he has built. I felt mostly nothing as he showed me his internal conflict and simply agreed with him. Even with all his reasoning, he couldn't stop messaging me. I think the back and forth happened over 5 times during the whole day, and I can proudly say that I didn't waver from my state. He said he missed all of me and made it clear that he thought of me all the time. And just because he wasn't talking to me, it did not mean I wasn't on his mind. There were a lot of tender moments during the exchanges, and I never pressured him to do or say anything. Towards the end of the day, and when I had enough of the back and forth, I set a boundary saying that until he wasn't done with the third party, I would not come to see him, and that if necessary, we could go back to the way things were and simply remain in no contact. By the way, when she said that, she's going to continue to energetically stay in the end. She's going to go right back. Now that she did that, she goes right back into the end of being together, of feeling the love is mutual and equal, of knowing that she's the one and only one for him, knowing that their love is equal, mutual, and that they are each other's true love and other half. They're equally matched. They are each other's divine counterpart. She's going to go back into that energy and back into the energy of being together. See how much evidence she had when, mid-December, that stuff happened that I talked about earlier. She went back into her power. She showed up for the little part of herself. She gave herself love. Then she let it go. Then she went back into the oneness, the relationship, the equal, mutual, deep, passionate love. So sorry. I get overboard with this stuff because I just love the subject of love and I love bringing people together. I've been holding up surprisingly well in the face of the opposite and understood now what you meant by no reaction. And this being the opportunity to not believe in the old story anymore. Exactly. The very moment that the opposition happens, and it's okay if you end up wobbling a little bit. It's totally fine. So don't be impatient with yourself. But that very moment is such a powerful moment to not give in to the 3D because the 3D is always a reflection of your past. So if you react to the 3D, you are simply reacting to what you've already manifested. You're reacting to the past. Okay? And this being the opportunity to not believe in the old story anymore. Only today during my yoga class, many conflicting thoughts surfaced and reminding me that he was in a relationship and how this situation with me could tear everything apart. It wasn't easy, but I found a way to get back mentally to what I knew and what this ultimately was. Please feel free to share this with your viewers if you'd like. I found the part where he said that simply because he wasn't talking to me did not mean he wasn't thinking of me, especially reassuring for many who might be going through what I did. I'm remaining in my state and addressing anything that might resurface opposing it. Love you, Kim. Looking forward to speaking to you soon. And I love you too. Don't be fooled by when the opposition shows up in your 3D. It is that moment for you to dig your heels in and to be who you already are. This is a reflection of my past fears, maybe of not being chosen, not being good enough, that I'm going to be abandoned, that love isn't safe. That's all that this is. If there's a third party of any kind, if there's long distance, age differences, religious differences, whatever it is, I've come on and I've shared so many stories of people who finally stepped into the power of unconditional love, chose themselves, stopped attaching and projecting this story of abandonment, rejection, and fear, whatever it is around love, they stopped projecting it onto their person. When they just disconnected the emotion that their body is going through, it's just a signal. It's literally just a signal telling you you're not in alignment, you're not in trust. But you don't reject and block yourself. You don't ignore the feelings, because if you ignore the feelings, you're essentially ignoring yourself. If you ignore yourself, you're blocking yourself, which then obviously creates the experience of being ignored, maybe being blocked. Okay. So it is the moment for you to dig your heels in and not allow the 3D experience to pull you back into your old identity. So you detach the frustration and the anger and the sadness from your person. You already have gotten clear of the relationship, the happy, loving, secure, passionate, intimate, fun relationship with challenges, but you guys now face the challenges together and it actually pulls you closer. You are loving, kind, faithful, and secure. You prioritize each other. That is your end. So now that you've been embodying that every single day and throughout the day, if the opposite shows up, that's where you go back to after you just reflect on the emotion the way I mentioned earlier in the session. Don't ignore the emotion, thinking, if I let myself feel this sadness, I'm going to ruin everything. You can't ruin it unless you decide to give up. But you can also make this process really draining on yourself if you only make everything about your person. When it comes to deep soul connections, true love, what I like to talk about when I'm talking on these videos with a lot of you, it's not a romantic, how can I put this? This is a relationship with self. It's a relationship to love, truly, truly love and choose yourself and accept yourself exactly how you are, to see that you are not actually broken, that love is actually safe, and that you are worth fighting for. You are worth somebody facing their own stuff for. Yeah, because when you stop settling for less than that, then your person will also stop settling for less in their reality. Meaning, if you're not settling for less anymore, and you're truly loving and valuing yourself and you're knowing your power and you're staying focused on the end, then your person won't be settling for less anymore in their reality too. They wouldn't be able to settle for anyone but you, because you are the one that they were created to love. And when you know that and you choose that, then they will know that and choose that too. But like my client said, just because he wasn't talking to me did not mean he wasn't thinking of me. See, so that's the truth. The most profound, powerful movement is happening as it's happening in your mind, body, soul, and heart. It's happening in your mirror souls as well. You may not see evidence of that. You, again, could see the opposite of it. All right. So, anyway, you disconnect the emotion now from your person because you've gotten super clear of the relationship of, of the two of you together and how you bring out the best in each other. Yeah. Then, then you cry, you let yourself feel the emotions. You don't stuff it down or reject it, again, for the reasons I said earlier. You surrender, you detach, and then you can do a little revision. Then go nurture yourself. Then just literally go nurture yourself. Just spoil yourself. Just give to yourself. By the end of that day, depending, like let's say that happened in the afternoon, by the end of the day, always don't stop doing your inner work. Consistently do your inner work. When I say consistently do your inner work, I don't mean just going back to affirming only for the relationship. When I say do your inner work, I'm saying tap into your power, tap into God, universe, source, creator, infinite intelligence, the oneness, go into gratitude, pour love into yourself, and then, affirm for the different areas of your life and then the things with you and your person. After you affirm for things, you pause and you allow yourself to experience whatever that was you just affirmed energetically. You do need to stay faithful and consistent. You do not need to stay faithful and consistent to your past identity. But you do love yourself, let it go, release it, and then get back in your power after you've given yourself a little time. Like give yourself some me time, give yourself some space a little bit to just relax and enjoy yourself and like give something to yourself. Just do something that makes you happy. Okay. If you go back in and you start to do your inner work, like I described just a minute ago, that it's not only about only your person. And at some point when you're doing the inner work, let's say you try to do the inner work before you go to sleep or the next morning. If you start to feel a trigger come up when you start to, like, because of the little bit of old story that just came up, if you feel a sense of resistance rising within you and you're not ready to affirm specifically for your specific person, like do the inner work. And the moment you start to feel, if you start to feel resistance, don't expect that you're going to start to feel resistance because you might not. If you do start to feel resistance, don't just throw away, like don't just stop doing the inner work. Take a nice deep breath in, exhale out through your mouth, do it 1 to 3 times. Just imagine that you guys are with each other and you're smiling. It's peaceful. Say single words. Say peaceful, easy, flow, love, affection, harmony, happiness, joy. That's all you have to do. And that's a lot better than just like basically saying, I don't need to do the inner work, and listening to your ego that's resisting embodying being with your person in love, in harmony. Okay. I intend that this video helped. Affirm down below. I know that we were created for each other. It's me and only me, and it's always been me for them. I am the love of their life. We love each other deeply. We are safe and secure in this beautiful love. We bring out the best in each other. Have an amazing day. I intend that this helped. I love you. Bye.
Nothing can come, nothing can come, nothing can come between us.